I thought I'd just let that play out just so you guys could see the hard work and that's gone into making that song, even if you can't understand it, from our guys over at GG.Bet. Of course, can't do any of this without them, as we are into the GG.Bet Winter Cup. We've just had our first best of 3. It was a back and forth across the first 2 maps, and then a complete and utter brutalization on Overpass. Fate take it 2-1, but now we have a different set of circumstances. Out of that first game, at least one of them, while they emerge out of the groups, there's still one that has yet to be decided, because now they're 1-1. And, well, it comes down to the winner of this game. Rocketlaunchers or Brute. One of them is out of Group A here in the GG.Bet Winter Cup. That all remains to be seen. Just so you guys are aware, of course, we do have the vetoes available. First map, as you can see, we're on Mirage. Dust 2 is our following. First map, sorry, picked by Rocketlaunchers. Second map by Brute is Dust 2. And then Inferno is our remaining and decider map of the night, should we go that full distance. I don't know too much as to what to expect coming into this. I obviously recognize names like Soaker, Deaths, they're Movistar Riders players at one point or another. But truthfully, haven't seen too much of Brute. I'm leaning myself more so in favor of Rocketlaunchers. I think they've got the individual capacity, but given that Brute are, or at least have been, a team for a longer period of time, maybe the strategic element comes into play and they're able to really capitalize on the lack of fully fledged structure in their opponents. Of course, these guys play hailing from the Czech Republic primarily. They've got Max from Serbia, whereas on the side of Rocketlaunchers, it's Spanish players mixed with a few Russian or Slovakian players. So that is, we're not quite getting that same only one nationality matchup like we got in our first best of 3. It's a bit more hybridized. Even, and it's what you like to see within our sort of CIS and European scenes, is that we all start to intermingle and just source talent where talent is found. Anyway, we're away from all that. Of course, if you are just joining us and you haven't had us sort of say it already, happy holidays. We're happy that you are joining us for these games of Counter-Strike, and with this being the last best of 3 of the day, let's hope it's a good one. Rocketlaunchers start on the CT side. They've got a kit, a smoke on Soaker, whereas Brute, they had utility on Max, but that's all been expended in taking middle control, and they will make a fast move towards the A site. The initial frag found by Max is good. And they're actually looking to take control of jungle, a strong afterplant position to hold, and should they continue to hold that for the post-plant, that makes things incredibly difficult for Rocketlaunchers. Of course, a kit can be recovered. That has been now salvaged by an MNK. Oh, creeping forward. He got the headshot through the boxes, but no frags to be found. Means Sosol is a dead man. That is called the murder hole for a reason. We experience and witness exactly that. Brute take the first and opening pistol round of this best of 3. Max is the new Nexa. Okay. I'll bear that in mind. Got 1 kill. That was highly impactful. Haven't seen too much else as of yet, but I'm sure we will. HAT. Nice little collateral, but hey. Just an anti-eco. Nothing really to write home about. Brute suffer a couple of casualties, but nothing that they're going to be ultimately too sad about. Already, even from these first 2 rounds, you can tell that Brute are going to put quite a lot of emphasis on mid control. In pistol rounds that you quite often see, it is still very A or B side focused. Middle is a tougher sell, primarily because you have blocks. And of course, you are in a great spot to deal with anti-ecos should you commit to that position as well. But slow default. Aspen's got his hands onto that AWP rather swiftly, and he's looking to punish that jump spot in towards CT. Couple of warning shots given. They know that the AWP is implemented. Although the smoke takes some time to bloom, it does at least segment these players. Shaq, does he realize that there's a player below him? Soaker will at least spot him out. They should be able to 2v1 this fight if Soaker didn't come out ahead. Still, it's traded back by the T side. Shaq still holding the top side of connect. The flash is brilliant, but it just comes out a little bit too late. AJT there for the trade, but cannot get the second. Caspin with it all to do. Secondary shot missed. The follow-up wasn't quite there, and Capson, sorry, still holding him in. The utility usage to allow him to escape means that they can group themselves up. It's all about whether he can catch these players off guard, and I think he realized rather swiftly that jumping into their loving arms was the wrong move. Rocket Launchers finally get their first. And as soon as they get onto the rifles, that's where they show the best contest. So Samu, just because you're asking again, it is Mirage, Dust 2, and Inferno. Classic maps that have been in the pool for a long period of time. Well, Dust 2 has a kind of an asterisk next to it, but you get the picture. Again, another slow approach here from Brute. The strongest of buys. They've got a couple of rifles darted in the mix. Still yet to meet any sort of resistance here from the CTs. They've got a crossfire in towards window. Should a boost come through from Brute, be amply prepared for it, but Shaq repositions. I think AJT had hoped that there'd be a larger gap in that smoke just so he could use it as some of one way. That, oh, Max, he doesn't clear the murder hole, or if he did, that's found the right timing. Either way, it's a kill for Rocket Launchers that is untradeable for the T side. With 40 seconds left as well, they need to start posturing up for a hit towards one of these sites. Shaq unable to get anything done. That's his remaining elusive. He's trying to stay alive and kicking for as long as possible. Capson, he's gotten up high and he's overwhelmed that player in ladder. They're collapsing towards the B bomb site. And Brute, they should have an open plan. The kit is there on Soaker. Ensure it's not planted in a great spot to hold too many after plant positions. This is still an awkward one to pursue here for your Rocket Launchers. The scout being a huge part of that. The flanking potential as well from Capson is a huge worry for them as well. And with MNK being dropped, Soaker now trying to perform his individual heroics. Flashing, darting between the two angles. He is showing sharp aim in terms of constant readjustment, but he just doesn't have the time. And AJT, he'll win this round by default. Soaker will go down with the bomb. It's a blaze of glory, but he doesn't quite pull it over the line. Brute wasn't a strong buy, but it got the job done. Mirage was picked by Rocket Launchers, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check, make sure I'm not giving you guys wrong information. It was indeed Rocket Launcher's pick. Half HP to start things off on two of the Brute players. These, okay, what has happened here? The round is gone in an instant. They try and collapse on A and they just get slaughtered from so many angles. Individual fights just won by so many of the Rocket Launchers players. It was just an instant collapse. I don't even think we can get a replay of that because it just happened so fast. Hope we don't see too many of those. Like to see the round, you know, do a little back and forth. A bit more suspense, but no. That round was as flat as a pancake. Suddenly this all flipped on its head. Oh, the nade sails right past. Saucel, the first kill there. Not quite good enough for the second. Flash caused a few too many issues, and, well, at least they're denying the planting capabilities to start things off, and it's still equal and even between the two sides. 3 on 3, and they are slowing things down. They're waiting for Brutes to get that bomb planted for them to feel that pressure. MNK, long distance with the P250. It's Max that comes out ahead, and the headshot from the scout. Soaker, 1 on 3. A kit, it is available, but he's been spotted out playing around this smoke. They know what he's up to, and they won't fall for his tricks. They go for the double swing, and Brute to bring it over the line. Far more success when with them going towards the B bomb site. Rocket launchers are now in half-buy territory. I like the idea of pressuring towards the underpass, but execution could use a little work. The trade, a little lackluster. Capson's able to get away with 2. He will survive by the skin of his teeth. He survives nonetheless. And it's another double kill on the other side of the map for Daxon. Russell will spot it out. They know where he should be, so the B bomb site is the safest path for them to take. And Max able to adjust in time to deal with the imminent threat. These rounds are going by so quickly. As compared to the previous best of 3, where it kind of seemed like across all maps, Inferno primarily, where everything came down to the last 30, 20 seconds. These rounds are so rapid. Ooh, good flash in towards mid. That means these pistols see a little bit of damage. That's crazy that's gone, but in his place, 3 have fallen on the side of rocket launchers, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be too much of an issue. They're still spreading out. They're still making sure that these Galils are... Sorry, not even just the Galils. The AKs are kind of wandering about by themselves. They would use the lowest value weapons to look for that information, but they're just waiting to see what the response is from these remaining 2 players. Whether it's late aggression through middle, maybe a counterplay through one of the apartments, and oh, it's a crossfire towards the top side of connector. Soaker gets 2, but 2 still survive for Brute. And I like that when they're getting these opening frags on the side of Brute, they are slowing things down, especially when they realize that it's so early on into the round that they don't need to be accelerating. It isn't always a race to the bomb sites. Showing a little bit of poise after they get those opening frags. MNK up in play. They're in the smoke, and MNK is gone just like that. The secondary not quite so easy for Crazy, like his name would suggest. Okay, I thought he was gonna go straight through that one as well. These Brute players are just, well, using brute force, and it's working. Capson, a double kill, the second around a smoke. There's only 2 players that stand in their path, and they are both located towards the A bomb site. Soaker and Saucel Capson almost leaves the bomb carrier to his own devices. Leaves him on an island. With these two remaining players, just... You can deal with it. Joker is just being a huge thorn in their side. Sossel, does he go for the flank or does he merely hold? Capson is fully locked into this position. I'm not sure how he's going to be able to support his teammate as Daxon relocates towards B. He's got the bomb on his back. Sossel, oh no. He hears the steps. Sossel, you've given up your advantage. The surprise element is gone. Daxon knows you're here, and now it's just isolated duels. And actually, now they have the advantage, the 2-on-1 instead towards B. Not what you want to see if you're Rocket Launchers. The tides turn so quickly. Now it's all just about playing the trade game. We're working off each other's information. Soaker, another clutch attempt. Needs to finish the round with 4 frags for Rocket Launcher's victory, and he's begun his approach. He's slowly moving forward. He spots the tail end of Capson. Daxon, he doesn't get cleared. Brute, round number 7, taken. Was a really good effort from Soaker. Kind of spraying and praying his way into a couple of those frags, and just because those players were so low to begin with, able to convert on those kills. Brute, again, towards middle. Control being taken, and again they go towards A when they've gotten that middle control. They have really been mixing it up. I think it has just been about 50-50 between the two sites in terms of where they look to go to into their mid-round decision-making. A lot of that has stemmed off of that presence towards mid. Capson, kill with the AWP. Rocket Launchers now divided. Of course, it's just them on pistols, so not too much that they can really hope for, but catching players out with nades, that is perfect timing from Sossel. Just don't know if it's going to be enough. Okay, never mind. Death suddenly opens up the round. 2 kills on the Deeg for him. There's now only 2 players remaining for Brute. The problem is these post-plant positions, even with those frags, even with the numbers advantage, this is still such a strong position for Brute to hold. Daxon, an easy enough frag. AJT at a distance with the Krieg. That's where that weapon thrives. And MNK pretty much blown to smithereens. 17 HP is all that remains, and he is out of there. The AWP recovered. He looks to bring that into the following round, but this is already a half victory for Brute. 8 on the T side. Everything else is merely icing on top. I imagine those of you joining me have already had your holiday feasts, meals, and I don't know, people do breakfast, some people do lunch. Either way, I hope it was good. Open play over towards B. Capson eliminates the threat immediately. MNK has really been struggling. He's been lost out on so many of these opening AWP duels, but at the very least they're supporting cast over towards that B site in the form of riflers. Sossel, Deaths, they're both there, but Deaths being eliminated, they look to make this flank some kind of an avenue in. Capson even blinded. He showed no attempt in turning away from that flash, and now Rocket Launchers will again have to make the tough call to save. They've been getting brutalized again. We just saw Fate pull similar performances on Overpass. This isn't quite as convincing, but Brute are really taking the fight to them. Rocket launchers are getting caught out. Not prepared for the pace or the intensity of some of the plays that Brute have been going for. And this just shouldn't be allowed. He doesn't move an inch. I think he'd expected as well, because he was still holding the angle on the first flash. Because it bounced just around the edge of that couch, he thought he would bounce in the same spot, and so maybe that's why he didn't turn, but either way, it is a confident play. Okay, labored sprays, but the results are all the same. Crazy, a couple of kills in response. Capson not able to contribute or save his teammate. The bombs dropped in no man's land, really. It'll be a pretty difficult endeavor to recover it. Of course, that would be the case if rocket launchers were still contesting in towards middle. They've instead fallen back and taken control towards B. Look at the minimap. They're continuing to push on through. It's all about when he goes that extra mile. Fully cuts that off as a rotation angle, and he's already done it. Jack's in position. Deaths is the first player that stands in their path, but he turns away at the worst possible time. Thinking that a window boost was a possibility. MNK at least there to get one right back. It's an AWP versus AWP, a duel towards B that could potentially be the make or break in this round. MNK around the back of the smoke. Capson has gone through the window. And he hits the wall. MNK, it's taken a while to come online, especially with the AWP being his primary focal point. Good that he's been able to contribute in a meaningful way for rocket launchers. They have a long path to go to make up for some of these earlier rounds. But it can't all just be Soaker, who sits at the top of the scoreboard for the side on 13. I did say this earlier, but I'll leave the point for a moment. Deaths. First kill onto Daxon. It's going to be a storm out play towards the A site here from Brute. Trying to use the numbers and the force to push them back. Shaq's done well to just keep himself alive. Just hold on towards connector. And as these smokes are going down, that buys him a bit more space. Soaker is being such a nuisance. They can't deal with him. No trade potential from the T-side players, but they've still got Capson in towards middle. He's probing around with the AWP. Shaq knows that middle is a likely avenue. With AJT gone, it's merely Capson that remains. Window jump successful. Capson looks to reposition and remain elusive. The flash timing, it's brilliant. Capson forced back. And I think he realized, because they had such a good read on that flash timing, that they know exactly where he's coming from, so no real way into the round. It will be a save call here from the remaining group player just to hold on to that AWP. The point I was going to make is because I've just seen that little message that you put in. Of course, guys, it is the holiday season. A number of different holidays being celebrated. Of course, there's a lot of people with time off. We're all just enjoying the Counter-Strike, so I merely ask that you guys be civil to each other and really just keep the, the fun making and, all this banter. Keep it amicable. Because this is a day in which it's, friends, family, and really, we're all friends here in chat. Okay, I mean, that one's a bit of a stretch. Of course, the underlying thing is just happy holidays. Share the positive vibes. Good signs for rocket launchers. Now got themselves a 4th round. M&K again towards the B apartments. This time there's a flash that accompanies the peak, and it is well timed. That's there to support and stop them from emerging out of the apartments. Capson trying to get something done on his own AWP. The flash time. Oh, Capson, he missed the shot, and it means that his teammate dies as well. He could have had a player alongside him, but it's just not meant to be. Rocket launchers to 5. And I imagine that those odds will begin to shift as rocket launchers have built some momentum. Back there, got a secondary op in CT spawn, so should one of these riflers wish to pick that up into the late round, they have the option in doing so. And rocket launchers are really doing well here. I mean, it's not the strongest buy, sure, from Brute, but they have begun to flip the script. Capson, 34 HP, Mac 10 in his possession. Certainly not ideal. He has another smoke to work with. He spots that cell the corner of his eye. This is a long rotation to make. I think it's likely he catches Sosol out. He doesn't seem to be honoring that as a rotationary angle as of yet, but he's just going to dance back and forth between that and the window, and as he goes through the murder hole, he is, well, murdered. 6-9. Rocket launchers. Still trailing behind, but looking to change that as they switch sides. Also, I want to thank you guys in chat for spreading that positive energy. You guys are cute. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas to everyone except those mods that removed my previous message. Well, you know, I guess that's fair. Let's see how it all goes. Brute, they've got utility on several of their players. They fight heavily for mid control, and rocket launchers use the exact same strategy almost. Without as many moving portions of the puzzle, they don't have as much utility, but the flash is good to at least allow and prevent Crazy from having too much impact. How has he still come away with the frag? He's on 19 HP and they just can't deal with him. Eventually he's found. The problem is that the bomb is in Brute's possession and they've smoked it off. They buy themselves 15 seconds in which rocket launchers can't really do too much. They look to play the long-ranged angles as well, just to make sure that these USPs are as effective as possible. The problem is, Soaker's got his own version of the USP. Sure, it's a P2K, but it does the same job. And rocket launchers, they will take a T-side pistol. We've seen both T-sides reap the... or see success in the pistol rounds. Leading the charge here for rocket launchers mid-control. It's almost an identical set of rounds from both Brute's T-side to rocket launchers. They've gone for similar sort of setups. Small variations in terms of what's invested. But the underlying goals are the same. the brute force buy. They're hoping that the scouts weaken up with the SMGs for the pistols. They haven't really been given too many opportunities as of yet. Rocket launchers are using that utility to great effect. What is going on over here? Right. Just seen a tear in the fourth wall. The world's inner codings revealed to us all. But Soaker is unfazed. 2 kills towards the A site. Brute do still have control of CT. An opportunity for Daxon. 2 swings and misses, but Crazy still hits his shots. Doesn't need his teammate to support. Doesn't need the scout to soften them up. He's doing it all so far for the side, but he's dealt with eventually, and with Max not pulling out anything on this flank, looking more and more like a Rocket Launchers round, but we'll see if Max can deal with this initial player towards the side. He'll jiggle, he'll hit the shot. Shaq breaks the backboard and breaks Max's head. You know, the misses from Daxon made up for by Crazy. Timeout called by the Rocket Launchers T side. Not quite sure as to why this would be. Of course, they've won the last 2 rounds. Maybe it did get a little bit dicey in that previous just because of the play from Crazy. You can expect that that could happen. You're just making sure as well that that was a full force buy and that they don't get caught out by any sort of surprises here from Brute. Of course, we can see it's simply not the case. It's upgraded pistols, but nothing else for the CTs. This should be a fairly run-of-the-mill round. Stack towards the B-bomb site here from Brute. What is he lining up with? Was he lining up a smoke? He's staring at those boxes so contently that they are waiting for their SMG player to make the first move. That will be Sossel over towards B. His main objective is to probe the bomb site, try and identify if there is a stack, which he will inevitably find out is there. Whether or not they deal with him is the first question. Max. Oh, here's the player jump out. Crazy's found the kill. They didn't really spot out the stack. Doesn't seem to matter though. Daxon's dealt with rather handily. Crazy's trying to compensate for the lack of space. With those shots sailing over, Rocket Launcher should have a pretty fair indication as to what's going on. No resistance on A. Means that the play is understood. Deaths will jump spot. He's the one looking for information for that T side. In fact, it's a very, very cheeky jump spot just because he doesn't really expose his head for all too long. Brute still likely to set up for exits at the very least just because they don't have a kit. Winning the round isn't all too realistic, but as they move forward, Deaths will deliver exactly that. An equalizing round for Rocket Launchers. Brute have lost their lead, but they're finally on proper weapons. And maybe this is where it all turns around. Capson was highly impactful with the AWP on the T side. I think he has that weapon to operate with coming into this round as well. Ready and early posturing up for an A-side execute here. from the likes of Rocketlaunchers. They are prepared, but not for a team kill. That's come out of left field. The trade is there, and so it's still equal numbers, but Soaker spams away. And of course it hits. Crazy. 1 versus 3. It'd have to be... I'd have to live up to his name. If he were to pull this one off, he will attempt the win. Okay. Yeah, he's angry about that. Hazy lessons I can give him. But aiming, I cannot. And Shaq, there's some nice and sharp aim to deal with the last remaining player. It's not the turnaround that Brute were really hoping for. Instead, the first to double digits is their opponents. Rocketlaunchers hold the first lead, I think, that they've had all game. Let's see if these Deagles can see too much success. In fact, it is their first lead of this game. He can just barely... He just saw the shadow, right? He can see the slimmest shadow of deaths from this angle. I'm pretty sure, but Daxon's still not making the move. Move forward, but that's... Okay. He's so prepared. 2 easy kills. Shaq as well will find the 3rd on that A site, which means this bomb can safely travel through. No crazy antics. That man is still there, and he continues to hit shots with this Deagle. He's really been this shining light, it seems, for Brute. Especially in these last few rounds. On the CT side, he's seen a lot of impact. Less so, we kind of witnessed Capson go off in the first half, but we haven't seen him do the same kinds of things we're kind of expecting into the CT side. But this is his second chance with the AWP now. Got the secondary AWP out on AJT as well. That's again an entry. Another impactful frag to open things up over towards B. There's at least something for Brute to write home about. Max has been fairly quiet in this game, but he prevents Rocketlaunchers from pursuing or advancing too swiftly towards B. Capson getting spotted out. There's some information to play off of, but he falls right into their trap. MNK, so prepared for exactly that rotation. Crazy will try his darndest to prevent advancement through connector, but it's just back and forth trades. AJT through the corner. Saucel's drop. Deaths now has it all to do. To finish the round on 3 frags would be an ask, but Max instead will take that away from him. 10 achieved from Brute. Finally, they break into double digits. And AJT, he caught the glimpse and he adjusts exactly where he needed to. So they will hold on to this double AWP setup. They will still utilize it. The smoke is mildly missed, and that's because of the Molotov deployed. The problem is that Capson, he was flashed as they went for the peak, and so won't be tempted right back into that one. That would be ill-advised. Also, we're gonna have some words over here. Don't say NA nade or EU nade, because down in our hearts we all know we should be laughing at UK nade. As someone from the UK, I am deeply offended. But also, I can't argue against it. Only one round between these two teams. We've had a fair amount of issues with Crazy. He's really been performing, but he falls short in that duel. Max is now left to his own devices, and as he gets taken down, sure, there's a rotating player in Capson, but he just doesn't have the space to play with, and they're just losing duel after duel after duel, and it's just AJT that actually wins his own. Problem being, he's on the other side of the map, and he has no chance in coming back for this retake. Trying to save this ult, but Soaker is already there. And although it's a little awkward, he makes sure that that ult isn't carried forward. You can tell Capson is a low-sense player, because he was... I think he ran out of mousepad. Now, that looked like exactly what that was. A much-needed timeout here for Brute. They'd had the lead coming into this half, but that is all changed around. Rocketlaunchers are abusing them on this T side. It's now 6 for them thus far in the half. Brute with only 1. Captain. Ooh, nice attempt. Still strafing when he shot, however. Made a small adjustment, and that inaccuracy is what cost him. MNK has seen a lot more success on this AWP as well now that he's on the T side of things, and continues to be the case. Sure, it's up against, again, preface rounds like this was, it's not the strongest buy. The easy ones are the ones you need to hit. You don't want damage to your economy bleeding through and having impact on later rounds in the half. You can tell just mechanically Crazy is really in a good element right now. His small adjustments, the flick aim is there, but it's just not enough. Well, greater success in the early stages of this half, but that has been fleeting. And I'm not sure Capson has killed too many people in the second half. I want to say at the half he was hovering around those kills, but there's still yet to see too much impact. When your top performer just really shoots off like that, it can hamper and cause a hole in what kind of structure you have implemented. What kind of positions you want to set yourselves up for. Ooh, I like the movement there from Max. That will always get a bit of love from me. It's not the most orthodox. It's because it's a huge risk to take, but it works out for him. 1-for-1 exchange towards B. Max fully blinded up. Saucel comes out ahead. He's found 2 on the approach. He's cleared a path for the bomb to be planted. The problem is that they are taking their sweet time to get this down, because they're still finding frags left and right. M&K as well. Huge amount of success. Capson location identified, but these players are tagged down low. Switching to the M4 is the right move in this position. He knows he has to really tickle them as he goes forward. First kill found, M&K. Which side do you pick? Which side do you gamble? Because Capson is gambling on you making the first move. When do you push on forward, Capson? Oh, he's creeping further and further forward. M&K hasn't been spotted, and he's played this to a T. He's identified it so quickly, but oh, quick switching. Capson's still able to get the frag, but he cannot win the round. Too much time bought by that game of cat and mouse. And Rocket Launchers will get a 14th. Cleared so many of the angles, and he just thought he had found some sort of security towards Van, or... And not that he'd been masterfully out-timing. Good visualization at play. Rocket Launchers in prime position to at least secure overtime. The MP9 and the FAMAS are the weak points here on the defensive end. And of course, we'll see some high impact. AJT will show exactly that. And ooh, the little double setup towards ramp. It's working wonderfully for Brute. In fact, they get 4. Just between the two of them. Sorry, 4? 3. Either way, they lock out that A-side attack from Rocket Launchers. They'd hope that by going a little bit quicker, they could get themselves to 15 a little bit faster, and that didn't seem to be the case. Brute hoping to change the way that this game has been going for them on the CT side. Only 2 rounds so far in this half. Especially after falling slightly short in that clutch situation, it's not ideal. Max has been fairly aggressive towards B, and hoping that he can get some information. It is a split buy from Rocket Launchers. They've all invested, but only 3 of them have primary weapons to speak of. Capson will take out one of the players that only had a deagle. M&K will try and make up for the space. Max is in the apartments, and do they set up for this flash play once more? They used it earlier on in this game. Bit crazy. He's there. Okay, that is swift. That was fully a pre-fire. He just wanted to fire off a couple of shots to pretend that he was going to continue fighting. And by some miracle, there's just a player on the receiving end. That is... I think he would even be surprised that he's gotten that frag. Soaker able to put an end to his shenanigans. Rocket Launchers hold on to middle control, even with the limited numbers. Bomb dropped in the underpass. They're not looking to win this round. If they were, they would have at least tried to recover that package in some capacity. It's just about staying alive, keeping these weapons into the following round. Good effort from Crazy to really shut that round out, even if it was by happenstance. He is fully just shooting at this first guy, and he understands that there's a boost under him, so he just pre-fires a couple bullets, and it just... They just full... I mean, that's not reaction time, that is instinct. Ooh, leg shot done. The Molotov as well finishes off the job. At the very least, the ops recovered. Definitely not what they were looking for. Rocket Launchers are slowing down their game. They're playing with a little less strut to their step. Well, Deaths is being one of these catalyzing players for the rounds. Often getting entry frags, double kills that were highly impactful into the mid-round. Now with him being limited in his success, Rocketlaunchers need to try and find another player that can begin to heat up. Jack. Ult posted and trying to find ways in. Capson will get one on the cross, and he is beginning to wake up as well on the CT side here for Brute. Now just 3 shy of 30. Soaker will get the kill necessary towards the A side of things. AJT still in position. The frag being found earlier on, they know that there should be another one over towards the A side, but AJT still comes out ahead in a couple of those duels. And now he's escaping capture from Soaker as he's repositioned around Underbalk. Oh, crazy? Out in no man's land with his knife out. I think he just thought Soaker would have just fallen back, but Max is taking his sweet time to put an end to Soaker's suffering. 14-13. Brute are oh so close to tying this up. How does he get away with this? 19 HP, they know where he is, they've spammed him oh so low, and he just can't land a shot afterwards. Window smoked. Molotov in towards connector. Standard mid-control nades here from the side of Rocketlaunchers. Pretty standard approach as well from Capson on the other side of things. His issue will become that because he's scoped in the connector, they know he's there. See the spam coming on through from Shaq as a result of that sound cue. He'll do well to back himself away. Only a little bit of damage sustained, but they know exactly where that AWP is. It is all quiet. Shaq has executed a player in crazy. Now they move towards the A site. They're hoping that draws the attention away, but they might have heard the rotation. Daxon, oh, I think just wanted out before he tucked himself in. AJT still the surprise element. 1 kill found. The turns around for the second. Soaker dealt with, and Max is there. M&K can do nothing but clutch at straws. 14-14. We tie it up. We're guaranteed the full distance. If not that, then overtime. But Brute have bounced back. And this is about the time you'd expect a timeout to be called, and there it is. Crunch time for both sides. And with Rocketlaunchers losing momentum, you hope that they are able to recover mentally. They got to a strong position. Just couldn't take it that little step further. Actually, it doesn't seem tactical in nature. Pause called with no timer. Seems to indicate that there's some sort of technical issue that they want to sort out. So, hoping that that doesn't take too long to get sorted. We had one earlier on in our previous best of 3 that ended up being Jimka leaving and having to be replaced. Hopefully nothing of that nature. I mean, we don't really have clear weak performers from either side. I mean, sure, Daxon and Max are kind of... Oh, actually, no, they're pretty far behind. Especially when you consider the Capson, Crazy, and AJT are all on 23 frags or more. those were all standout performances in their own right. And the same is kind of replicated on Rocket Launcher's end, but it's even more dramatic. So many players hovering around 20. The only one that's fallen short is MNK, and he's still got more frags than Daxon or Max. It's really been just more about when these players are getting kills, they are converting the rounds. And Rocket Launchers, it seems to be somewhat of an issue from them. Like, even when they're finding numerous kills, we've seen a lower success rate in doing so. At least that's what I believe it indicates. Either way, this is a round in which Rocket Launchers really hope they're able to salvage a 15th by some miracle with just the upgraded pistols, a bit of armor, a bit of utility. Again, it's a slow approach. Crazy could really prove to be a problem for them as they begin to move up connector. The smoke's on towards the site. Crazy, he hasn't peeked as of yet. It's all about getting this bomb planted here for the T side, but Daxon spams on through. Crazy at a distance will deal some damage. He does get traded out. Also, 1 HP, but dealt with. AJT's remained on this bomb site for a little bit too long. And finally, Deaths gives up the baiting game, pulls out the AWP, but meets the same fate. 15 accomplished for Brute. You're always going to overtime or a 16-14. It's beginning to be quite the long day. Of course, if you are just joining us, welcome. We've had plenty of exciting moments across both games today, and none to get closer than this. Rocket Launchers start off the round hot. Soaker with the AWP opens things up through middle. And that means that AJT is alone by a large margin, and we can see on the minimap, look at where these players are congregated for Rocket Launchers. This is the best call that they could make in this moment. The rotation is finally coming through from Brute, but the execution will now transpire. AJT, how does he hold on to this one? The smokes, they prevent any sight lines in. They know exactly where that player is isolated. Capson can do nothing but wait around. Crazy. Good for one, but the Molotov forces him into position. And Capson, he doesn't spot it in time. He had a gap to spot and prevent the bomb plant from coming through, but Max, it eliminated all the forward-facing angles, so they check behind. We go to overtime here on our first map between our loser game in Group A, Rocket Launchers and Brute. Loser of this series. Ejected. You're gone. You're out. You have no more stats within the GG.Bet Winter Cup. They're fighting tooth and nail. Long spray down middle, but he gets both. The trade unsuccessful for Rocket Launchers. First, we are playing MR3 10K, I do believe. The money is of huge importance. Should MNK lose out on this AWP, that has bigger implications. Follow-up rounds. Max, another kill found for the Brute side. It's the 2 versus 4. MNK swings one away. And oh no, AJT, you've been spotted. He finds Capson. Suddenly this round really turns on its head. Brute won't really realize that AJT is an element not of surprise. Really one that they anticipate. They're firing off these shots and they are prepared for the peak, but they still don't come out ahead. M&K is all that's left. And with 3 players remaining for Brute, he gets none of them. How do you get away with this? That is a long-range spray down. I like the change of positioning and pace here from both sides, actually. Pushing through the underpass. They've taken control of the B-side apartments, and Rocketlaunchers, they had planned, I think, initially to split towards the B bomb site, but now that's completely turned on its head. They got themselves up catwalk so rapidly. But now losing that apartment's presence, you have to slow things down so significantly. Oh no. Oh no. Crazy is boosted up and Deaths has hit the deck. M&K. That's a toasty ladder room. Now 30 accomplished by Crazy. He gets there first. Rocketlaunchers, the 2 players to pull this one back. Shaq and Kobe, aka Soaker for the Rocket Launcher side, trying to make this one work. Unplanted, but the problem is there's an avenue in towards the B apartments now for Brute to operate with. They want that player to clear out so many of these angles as fast as possible. Shaq tagged down twice by Capson. That is him on now 30 as well. Capson with the AWP. Just eliminates any hope that they had in the round. The first shot, sure. He's spamming the angle, but he goes for it again. That's just not what Shaq had anticipated. $30 kills for Crazy and Capson. Have a C in at the start of your name. And you're destined for 30 kills, it seems. This is the final call for their T-side half. Pushing forward towards the A site. It's an execute, a standardized one at that. AJT has not shown his cards as of yet, but the Molotov spreads by some. How was that hit him? It's bounced on the other side of the boxes, but it's still affecting him on the other side. Either way, it works in Rocketlauncher's favor. 15. Hoping to make it 16 as Brute set up for the retake. Smoke on through towards the ramp. M&K will take the high ground. Dossel will take the first few duels, and I don't think Brute can do this. Capson eliminated at the final push. And Rocketlaunchers able to scrap together at least one round on this T side. I am not gonna lie, I am very perplexed as to how that Molotov has worked or functioned in that manner. And I am sad for AJT. Because he was going to wait until they were on the bomb site to start making his move, but he was forced as a result of the Molotov. Small things make all the difference. We'll see if Rocketlaunchers can pull things back here on their CT side. First kill in. Brute. Strike first. The AWP was far more impactful for them on the T side as opposed to CT. And oh no, Shaq tries to compensate. In through mid he goes, and he's met by AJT. Deaths. Noise being made, shots being fired, but nobody really showing their face. Max, how do you get away with that? 99-1. He survives by the skin of his teeth, but Rocketlaunchers have yet to kill anyone in this round. Brute are closing in for that 18th round. And after that, they'd merely need one more. M&K and Deaths, can you prevent it? The AWP is posted, and they go for an open plant. That's a mistake. That's punished. Deaths as well will strike. A 5 versus 2 now turn to equal numbers. Max on 1 HP. This is dangerous territory, but he still finds the kill. M&K holds the bomb in his possession. He knows that it's on the site. Using the smoke to try and separate these duels. He misses the shot. That 1 HP went a mile for Max. Had he been taken out in the early stage of the round, none of that happens. But he survived, and he had huge impact into the late stages. Brute. Now so close to taking just our first map. And having that map advantage for Dust 2. Capson, fast pace through middle. He catches them completely unaware. A trade right back from Shaq. And I expect things should slow down, but they have site control fully. Rocketlaunchers not really posturing up to take that away from them. Daxon through to CT spawn. This kill could certainly change the tide for either side. Dodging the flash, Daxon is still up close and personal. There's utility available here on the side of Brute, but they don't implement it. They don't use it. Max and Daxon combine for a 1-2 punch, and this should be it. Surely there's no way, because M&K has it all to do. A 1 versus 3. Capson seals his fate. 33 kills for him. What a game between these two sides. Some really, really slim margins as well in the overtime. It made all the difference, but Brute pushed through it. That was a fantastic game to witness. A couple of really awkward moments. Still not the cleanest of Counter-Strike, but so much confidence on so many respective players. It made it incredibly fun to watch. But of course, guys, we have a second map to come. That was Rocketlauncher's pick. They've lost that to the side of Brute, and now coming into Dust 2, Brute could certainly steamroll, but we'll have to see if that is going to be the case. We'll see you in just a moment.